Hello, everybody. This is Juan Gonzalo Jaramillo Mejia, and I'm a Social Protection Program Policy Officer at WFP. And today I have the pleasure to be with Valentina Varca, who is the Space Team Leader. Today, we are going to talk to you about what is and why is it important social protection systems perspective. The objective of this video is to help you understand the framing of the webinar that we will be doing with CashCap and key partners in the Latin American Caribbean region, and help you understand and where are your experiences in the region fitting within the broad scheme of things. So the first question that we have is, and you will be wondering, are we talking about a social protection solar system? So first of all, the importance about this is that it let us see that coordination and synergies can occur across levels and sectors. And it is not an all or nothing equation where you link or you don't link, because there are many ways of doing so. The second point is that the linking isn't linear, but as you can see, circular, is dynamic, or components are interrelated. And because of this, thirdly, we're able to see that there are different levels and not just at a programmatic level, where often we focus too much, where there are opportunities for the linkage, but in fact that there are opportunities at the operational and policy levels. And that is taking me to the next point, in which this helps us see how we can go from programmatic implementation work into policy level and elevating and capitalizing that experience to influence this area of work. And then finally, we have how is it that the policy work will enable to cascade down the efforts and into better programming and implementation. So overall, this helps us think about the long-term sustainability and perspective, and holistically about the different bits and pieces that need to come together, as well as the many opportunities that there are in working in social protection for collaboration throughout the cycle. So what are the different bits and pieces that make this diagram? The first one in orange is the policy level, clearly. Then we have in dark blue the program design level, and finally the implementation and delivery. And as you will see across, we have a cycle that is telling us that this is really evolving and changing over time. So Valentina, can you tell us a little bit more about the different bits and pieces of this diagram, and maybe let's talk about the policy first?
Yes, thank you so much, Wango. So I'm going to start with a policy level, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be posing some of the questions we would love to hear answers to from you. So the examples that we're hoping to find are examples of where in your responses in the region, you've been sort of aligning with the legal and policy frameworks that exist in countries for social protection, sort of understanding those and linking to those. We'd love examples of where you might have kind of used innovative approaches to financing, for example, channeling through government systems or coordinating with government systems in your funding of responses. Coordination mechanisms where you were coordinating across sectors and really kind of focusing on a holistic vision of what you were trying to be achieving together, and sort of with a clear governance attached to that. Examples of where you might have leveraged the functional and technical capacities across sectors again. So maybe leveraging the capacity of social workers at local levels of implementation for a humanitarian response is one example.
This is great. And can you tell me something about the program design now that we've covered the policy?
Yes, so in terms of program design, and again, this is maybe where a lot of attention has already been placed when we think about linkages. There are a lot of opportunities in terms of coordinating assessments, sharing data and the underlying information on poverty and vulnerability and risk profiling, and sort of informing a response through that common understanding and kind of joint evidence building. There's kind of opportunities to be coordinating different benefits and services to make sure that they're linking in ways that can expand their impacts compared to if they were working just on their own, including across sectors, so different programs sort of working together to achieve joint outcomes. There can be discussions on alignment of eligibility criteria and qualifying conditions, even with the maybe long-term objectives of handing over certain caseloads to government, for example. And obviously the complex issue of transfer value, frequency and duration. We know there's a lot of issues there in terms of aligning, but there's many countries that have great examples of coordination to achieve that. So we'd love to hear from you on what you've been doing.
Yeah, this is great. And certainly, as we were saying, there's a great focus on this layer, but not only. What about now the implementation and delivery systems level?
Yes, so there's a lot of entry points here when it comes to implementation and delivery, and we've seen a lot of innovative practice in the COVID response, for example, in other regions as well. Obviously, the information systems and the kind of IT backbones, the management information systems play a big role here in terms of how across sectors we're coordinating our data while keeping in mind really important issues of data protection and privacy and how that has been done. We'd love to hear examples where maybe as humanitarians and kind of other actors supporting governments, you've supported outreach and communications, because we know that sometimes in social protection that is not done sufficiently, especially when we want to be guaranteeing a timely response. Coordinating in terms of opportunities for registration and kind of complementing maybe government capacities to be registering households, especially now we've seen with COVID, with all the complications of registering possibly remotely. Similar with assessment of needs and conditions, opportunities to be coordinating in terms of the actual payments platforms for delivery. Accountability mechanisms, really important here. There could be support to government systems in terms of setting up those accountability grievance mechanisms that are sometimes not strong enough, especially with an expansion of caseloads, in terms of case management, and really importantly also monitoring and evaluation jointly, kind of trying to understand jointly what we've been achieving across the response, not just one sector, another sector, but are we jointly achieving our outcomes? So we'd love examples of if and where you've been doing that.
This is great, Valentina. So we'll be waiting to see the great examples coming from the region and so many different actors. And stay tuned. So we let you know when and how we are going to have this great event, as I said, in partnership between CashCap, Space, and many other organizations in the region working on social protection, humanitarian cash, and other sort of social assistance interventions. So thank you very much, Valentina.
Thank you.